Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Comic Books NYC. This is New Comic Book Day with Comic Books NYC. Welcome back. I'm glad to be able to put this out on a Wednesday again. So before we get started, I just want to go ahead and make a reminder that I would really appreciate it if you could throw a like on this video, leave a comment below, let me know what you picked up, let me know what you thought of my haul. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do so. Comic Books NYC on YouTube. So we're going to get started with indie pickups. So this week, there was a couple significant indie releases. The biggest one by far for me would be TMNT number 100, IDW. So this is just the A cover, and I also was able to pick up the Kevin Eastman B cover today. Now, there are a ton of variants. There's a Midtown exclusive variant. There's, dozens and dozens of store variants out there. There's probably other variants that I'm not even aware of. I have done very little research on actually what variants are out there, if I'm interested in any of them. For the time being, just having the A cover and the Eastman cover was all I needed, but definitely looking forward to giving TMNT 100 a read. So now this next book, I'm not sure if this book actually came out this week. It may have came out last week. You guys probably might know more than I would, but it's a title from this company called Stranger Comics. The name of the book is Niobe She is Death. Now, this is a signed copy, signed by Sebastian. Let me get rid of this banner thing for a second so you can see the book better. Niobe She is Death, number 1. I believe this is the regular cover. And it's signed by Sebastian Jones right there, who is the writer of the series. And this cover is the Hyung Tech Nam cover. But anyway, there must have been a signing at Midtown downtown, and they had a bunch of these signed copies for cover price with COA. So I snagged that. And I also have heard some good things about this title. Haven't read it yet, but I saw that Reggie Collects, picked it up as well. So I was definitely curious about it. Looks pretty intriguing. I also grabbed this cover, which is the Jay Lee cover, which is really cool right here. Also signed by Sebastian Jones with a certificate of authentication from Midtown. So happy to get those, and I'm excited to give that book a read. Now, the other major indie title out this week that was on my radar, especially from a reading standpoint, I'm really sort of curious to see how this issue plays out, would be Undiscovered Country number 2 from Scott Snyder, Charles Soule. Now, unfortunately, I don't have it here because I used previews to order that book, and I opted not to get, a second copy or, buy the B cover off the shelf, even though I ordered the A cover on previews type thing. If it really starts gnawing at me before the end of the month to want to read issue 2, I might get it digital, on the Image app. But for the time being, I'm holding off. Until the end of the month when my preview orders come in. That said, though, I was able to pick up a copy of Undiscovered Country number 1, the regular A cover. But this one's signed by Scott Snyder and Charles Soule from the signing I had to miss when I was sick at Midtown. And it's got the COA on the back right there, signed by Scott Snyder and Charles Soule. So pretty cool that I was able to grab that as well. So pretty nice week for me as far as indies. I'm not a huge indie comics guy, but there are definitely several titles that I am picking up, following, reading, and definitely stoked about TMNT this week. So next up, we're going to go right into the DC pickups. First up, we have, this is Sean Murphy, DC Black Label, Curse of the White Knight, book number 5. So number 5 in this Curse of the White Knight series. This is the B cover with Batgirl on it. So I like this cover. I did pre-order through previews the A cover, but when I saw this Batgirl cover, B cover on the shelf, I just couldn't pass it up. Buying it off the shelf, I just dug it too much. And this is a book where if I didn't have this particular B cover copy and I had to wait until the A cover copy came in through previews at the end of the month, I would probably buckle and get it digitally and double dip on it. So now, even though I still technically double dipped on it by getting 2 different covers, at least I have 2 unique covers, and I'm not buying it again digitally to read because, you know, I've been absolutely loving this series and everything Sean Murphy has been doing. So shout out to him. But here we go. Batman, Curse the White Knight, number 5. And then the other DC pickup from this week was, now I don't know if this is an ongoing series, a mini-series, or a one-shot, but it's a Black Label. It's Frank Miller and Raphael Grampa, Dark Knight Returns, The Golden Child. So I think this is the A cover, and there are some other covers. And actually tonight, Frank Miller is doing a signing at Midtown Comics downtown. Unfortunately, it's I have other obligations tonight. It's also freezing cold out in New York City, so there are already people lined up as of hours ago for the signing for Frank. I may or may not be right about this, but you might have to buy like some sort of hardcover book or something. But you probably can get 2 other items signed. That's kind of standard. It's like they make you buy one thing and then you get 2 other items of any kind of item that you want signed. But shout out to anybody waiting on that line in the cold tonight for that signing, and hopefully you get everything you need done. But I'm curious to see what this book is about. I don't really know much about it, but it is on that Black Label, and it is Frank Miller, so I decided to give it a stab. Dark Knight Returns, The Golden Child. So that's it for DC. And we will then move on to the Marvel section of the program, starting with Miles Morales Spider-Man issue number 13. Now, I kind of stopped reading this a couple issues ago, but I kind of regretted it also, so I do want to catch up on this series and start sort of hopefully, you know, getting back. I think I left off at like issue number 10, so not too much to catch up on. This is issue number 13. But for anyone who's not aware, this issue showcases the first appearance of Miles Morales' new sister, Billy Morales. So a little bit of a spec play also, possibly for those out there looking to do those kind of things. Not necessarily something I do, but it is pretty cool to have the first appearance of Miles Morales' sister. With Marvel, you never really know what they're going to do down the line in the future, whether it's with comic book series, MCU, the Sony animated Spider-Verse stuff. There's another Miles Morales. There's another family member growing up around Miles Morales now in the comic books. So that is a pretty exciting development. So if that's something you're into, go ahead and grab that one. Now, the next book from Marvel, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, issue number 14. Sadly, the end of basically my favorite Spider-Man title of 2019. I've enjoyed this more than Nick Spencer's Amazing Spider-Man run. I've enjoyed it more. The Chip Zdarsky's Spider-Man Life Story miniseries was great, but it wasn't really like a full run, so I don't really compare them side by side. But I really do like Tom Taylor's interpretation here in this Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man volume. But this issue number 14, unfortunately, is the last one. Looking forward to reading it, but a little bit sad that it is ending. So next up, we got Fallen Angels, number 3, a series in this new Dawn of X group of books that has surprised me so far. Really enjoyed issues number 1 and number 2. So definitely looking forward to reading issue number 3. I know that also X-Force and New Mutants number 3 came out this week today, but I ordered those on previews, so I will be reading those digitally until the physical copies come in, because the X books are something I really want to stay on top of, whether I have the book in hand or not. So definitely looking forward to checking out Fallen Angels, number 3. Next up, we got a second printing of Absolute Carnage, issue number 4. So this is that killer Ryan Stegman cover. Now, I believe this is just a variation on the cover A, like slightly different coloring or shading or whatever. But still, I'm kind of being a completionist with all these additional printings. on Absolute Carnage, as some of you guys know, so I had to grab that one. And then there's just 2 more books in the haul. We got Symbiote Spider-Man Alien Reality #1. Now, this isn't a specific cover. It's the black blank, and it's in high grade. It is definitely a 9.8 candidate right now. We'll see if it stays that way after I get a 6 sketch done on it, either at C2E2 or MegaCon next year. We'll see. But happy to have this black blank cover so I can get something cool done on that. And then finally, I believe this is a back issue. It's not a book that came out this week, but I did grab it off the shelves today because it was there at Midtown. This is the Art Germ cover for Scream Curse of Carnage #1, but it is signed there by Clay McLeod Chapman, who is the writer of this book. So there was a signing, and I was able to grab that at cover price with a COA and that killer Art Germ cover signed by the writer. Pretty cool. So definitely got a couple signed, 4 signed books in the haul today for back issues, which is pretty cool. Some awesome Marvel stuff, some good DC stuff. Frank Miller, Sean Murphy, TMNT 100, Niobe, a new title from an indie publisher. Niobe She is Death, rather, from an indie title. So I'm excited about this week's haul. Now, I did have a lot of books that I didn't get to take home with me today because I knew I had already pre-ordered them through previews. 12 of them, to be in fact. So I'm going to get my little cheat sheet out and tell you guys what those books were. So that was Amazing Mary Jane #3. I got previews. Curse of the White Knight #5, cover A. Batman's Grave #3, cover A. Detective Comics 1017, cover A. Immortal Hulk 28, cover A. New Mutants #3, cover A. Spider-Man 2099, one-shot, cover A. Star Wars Dr. Aphra #40, cover A. Star Wars Target Vader #6. Symbiote Spider-Man Alien Reality #1, cover A. Undiscovered Country, which I alluded to earlier, #2. Cover A, and X-Force #3, cover A. So as you can see, a lot of books from this week still on the way once my preview order comes in at the end of the month. But, I'll have to wait on those. But that's it, guys. That's the haul for this week. Thanks for joining me for the ride here. Once again, if you can leave a like and comment, I'd really appreciate that. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do so. Comic Books NYC on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. If you need to get a hold of me, just hit me up on email at comicbooksnyc@gmail.com or send me a DM on Instagram at comicbooksnyc. So that's going to do it, guys, and I will see you next time for NCBD with CBNYC. Have a good one.